All right, everybody. Saturday morning here. Been doing a little bit of work on the RZ, as everybody can know. I got brake cables all put in here, or brake lines, I should say. They're not cables. So yeah, just kind of basically just the brake lines I got updated on here. Cables, grips as well. I don't know if I had those on the last time, but yeah. So I ordered a ton of parts as well, just to kind of finish out everything. Turn signals, I'm doing some mini turn signals. I don't want to do large turn signals. And I'm also going ahead with getting just a bunch of miscellaneous bolts, etc. One other thing too, I put on the steering stabilizer here. I put, as you can see, tape here. So this is just electrical tape because I really didn't want it grabbing onto the frame and ruining the frame. That was kind of what I was shooting for, but of course, you know how things go. It ends up probably have some nick on it when I pull it off of course. So it is what it is. But got some other things to update on. All right, so I went ahead and called the cylinder guy to look at re-sleeving, boring, kind of getting an idea of these cylinders. So what I wanted to point out was a couple things. One thing I noticed is you can see the back side of this this piston is really not in good shape. And if you come around to the front side, you can actually see there, it's hard to see, but it was also doing the same thing here, scoring up pretty bad. That's on the right side. This also right side piston was extremely gunked up. The power valve was awful, etc. Now on the left side piston here, you can see is a little bit of degradation, but honestly this piston really isn't that bad. But the thing is that I'm noticing now, just talking to everybody, this ring is stuck. So this motor, oh geez, it is stuck real bad. So this motor was really kind of on its way out, if you ask me. So we'll be doing a few different things to it as well. But the other thing is, and what I noticed, and I can't quite tell if somebody tried to port this at one time or another, but it kind of seems like you can tell right there, you can see on that top port where it almost looks like someone stuck a Dremel drill in there to try and port it. So those are all things that are going to have to be addressed by the cylinder guy, and something I wanted to, so I wanted to get this off and go ahead right now and do it. It took me a little bit of time to get it off. It sucked, but was able to do it. Things were frozen on, as you would imagine. So we will have bench build of this motor. Well, I'm going to actually put it on the bench, take stuff apart, kind of show how I go through this process. But I want to get those off for now. So let's keep working. Working on the bike, got a few things done, pretty much dialing the chassis as we know. So rims and tires are over at the Power Sports shop right now, getting mounted and balanced. I don't have a balancer, nor do I really know how to mount tires very well. And in the place, to be quite honest, I just got them powder coated, so I do not want to scratch them in the least bit trying. So that's where the rims and tires are. But in the meantime, I went ahead and pretty much dialed in the chassis here. Radiator's back on the front here. I got this radiator all on. It did have an electric fan. It was like an aftermarket type thing, and it had some crazy brackets that they put on to hold it. I decided to take that off for now, figure out how hot the bike actually runs normally. Here in Florida, it is hot. I usually don't ride my bikes anyways when it's really hot, because I don't want to burn them down, and first off, my legs are on fire then too at the same time. So we'll see. I might end up making some sort of bracketry to put that back on. I have a few ideas of how to do that, but for now we're just going to leave it as is. Went ahead and made some extenders for the original wiring harness. They're quite long. I could probably cut a bunch of the wire off, but I did it this way and whatever. So basically I put mini turn signals on this bike. They're very small. Grab the old one. So this is an example of the old one and how the old one would sit. So way out here versus that. Give you kind of an idea. This one's actually probably for the front. The other ones it probably sits just like that. for the rear. This light is for the front. But nonetheless, it makes it look a lot more sleek, way more sleek look, which is what I'm going for. And I did the same with the front. So the front, you can see, super mini, right? Super cool, makes it look, again, really sleek in what I'm going for. And just for an example, this is where the old ones would sit, to have an idea. And they're such a big, bulky, and they look hideous. So I really didn't want to go with them. I have brand new ones of these that came with the bike, but I just didn't really want to put them on there. So one thing I did that was super cool in putting these together was on the backside here, there is a mounting bracket right here, and I'll highlight it with this. So this is the mounting bracket right here, this little piece that I pointed with my finger. So the inside of this tube on the other side is the perfect size for thread for a M10 by 1 to 1.5. So I went ahead and threaded the inside of this and screwed in the turn signals to it. So it gives you the perfect extender while maintaining the literally original parts for it. And as well as putting the wire extender that I did maintains the original wiring harness too, and keeps everything exactly the same on the other turn signals. So that was kind of a cool little neat little project that I did. It took me a little bit to do, but it's super easy, just bullet connectors. Nothing really like out of the ordinary to point out. Then I went ahead and installed the brake system here, rear brake at least. Got that all put on there. Everything tightened down as best I could. Got my battery installed. Tested everything out, and turns out the turn signals do need a flasher relay. They do not flash, so I got that on order. Believe it or not, do not make it anymore, and it is a pain to find one. So I did luckily on eBay, but that's kind of where we're sitting. So right now, just kind of going to be dialing in the chassis maybe just a hair bit more in terms of like the gas tank and things like that. But ultimately, the next steps are the motor. I need to go get the cylinders assessed by a shop. I think they're going to be fine without being with just being honed actually. I'm kind of back and forth on them, but I'll put together a more in-depth clip here next on the engine. So this is left piston. Left piston actually isn't like terrible. Like, I do understand this is from getting hot, like really hot. Not that bad. Two strokes do have some sort of, can have some sort of degradation like that, or color discoloration in the piston, just because they're two-stroke bike and they're always running at high Rs. The other thing though I noticed is that the rings are stuck. Rings do not expand or contract on these, especially this bottom one will not, so they're all carboned up, which is not good for this bike at all. Now, this is the right piston. This is not right. You should not have this discoloration down the front at all. Rings again are stuck, and look to the back here. You can see where that piston was getting scored up by something. So this is really why I wanted to take it into the cylinder shop, because there's legit scrapes in this piston, like burr scrapes, and I just want to make sure that that is not something that because I think somebody tried to maybe at one point port this, and I think they left a burr, etc. So when this piston expanded, it hit that burr. So just want to check it to make sure, and you can see this side's all scraped to hell too. I mean, it's not good at all. So yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with on the piston side. Pointer stick here for everybody on YouTube to see. So we're going to pull. So I noted that this is the left side right here. This is the right side. We're gonna look at the right side first. So you can see the right side crank. Really nothing I'm noticing wrong. It's got the appropriate gaps. So everything looks right. Not big deal. This was the one with the bad piston. Now you go to the left side, and I want you to take a look. That there is essentially a hair bit of gap there. No gap against the block here. We'll say the cylinder block on this crank. And just to look at the gap here. I can stick a screwdriver in there. There's that big of a gap on this crank rod. That is not supposed to be like this, where we can look at the other one hang on, there we go. Pop the other one up, and you can take a look, and there is zero gap. You're not supposed to be able to stick a screwdriver in there. There's a little bit of play, that's okay, but nothing like what it should be on the other side. So this motor is un shot. It's gonna get a new crank, pistons, cylinders potentially, depending, board cylinders, can figure out from the guy. But yeah, we're gonna be going through a pretty fun motor build as time goes on. I will be videoing the motor build. I'm not a professional motor builder, we could say, but definitely am going to do my best to show you what I do know. So in the meantime, why don't we get a little bit of working on the tank? So you guys have kind of seen my tank process. This one I might do a little bit different, just because I really don't think the inside of the tank is that bad. Might just leave it as is, but tank is not getting painted. Tank is going to stay exactly original as best we can, but we do need to clean it, adjust the petcock, or take the petcock off, clean it, and then this has got to get cleaned real bad. So we'll go ahead and get all that done and kind of video that little process as we do it. So, woo! So all you need to do for unscrewing this is you take these two screws off that take these two screws off here that pop into there like that, unscrew those. This whole cap comes off here. There is a little washer there. You can kind of just, nope, there goes kind of half of it. Take that off, as well as that little piece there goes off. So now you kind of gotta just well, now this is actually pretty decent to clean. A little bit of before, maybe a little after, and a little after. Not perfect, but much better. And that's just after running the Dremel drill on a little scruff pad basically. So much better than it was. It'll never be perfect, but good enough for me. So put it all back together here, super easy. Get the key in here, and you can just kind of see how it actuates. I just sprayed this thing down with a crap ton of WD-40 just to kind of get this thing all lubed up. When I first got this bike, this was stuck, and I was so scared I was going to break off the key. Luckily, I got WD-40 inside of the key here and was able to wiggle it loose a little bit, and fortunately didn't break anything. But WD-40 that son of a gun up, and now that it's all clean, actuates properly. Alright, so everybody, petcock here I'm starting to take off. The bolts here are stuck. I tried everything. I tried a slide hammer, or not slide hammer, a tool that you hit with a hammer to break loose. Nothing is working. So I went ahead with the other one, drilled out it, and have a little like a bolt out tool or screw out tool. I can show you how I do it. So first things first, you want to do with these, if you ever have stuck bolt and it don't want to work, first off, go here and drill it out as best you can, or at least get a spot for your tap to work in here, and I'll show you the tool I have. But so we're gonna go ahead, drill it in, and I'll show you when I get done here. Alright, so hard to see, but I went in there, drilled it out, probably drilled it out only 1/4 inch or so. Now we're gonna get the easy out tool here. I actually have it on the end of my impact. We'll take it, we'll hammer it in with a hammer, the tip here, and we'll put the impact on it and screw it out. And it broke off. Would you look at that? Ha ha ha, now we're gonna have real fun. So I was able to get it out right there in my hand. That is the little piece of thread that was stuck in there. So if you're drilling it out, best thing to do when you're drilling these out, start super small and work up larger. And then the big thing is if it's straight. Like, that is the hardest possible thing, especially when you're working on the ground with big items. Gotta make sure it's straight. Alright, so I went ahead and cleaned up the underside of the tank as best I could there. It's pretty decent. I am keeping this look exactly the same way it is. I don't want to really clean it that much and make it look brand new. I want it to look patina, kind of keep the old characteristics, because honestly, it can only be original once, and it looks cool. And just like that, it looks like a motorcycle again. Dang, man, it's getting me so excited to ride this motorcycle. It looks so freaking cool. I'm pumped. Alrighty everybody, so it's late at night here, and I just wanted to say thank you. This is going to be the end of the video. Appreciate everybody liking, commenting, subscribing. It's a small YouTuber. This is it's super cool to see that people actually want to watch my stuff and actually do watch it, so I think that's super cool. But thanks everybody. See you next time.